It was a warm and sunny morning. Wildlife rescuer Jack Miller drove slowly along the narrow road through the dense forest. His faithful German Shepherd dog sat in the passenger seat, looking intently around. They had been patrolling the area for several hours, checking to see if everything was okay after the recent storm. Jack loved these quiet moments. The smell of pine needles, the chirping of birds, the rare rays of sunlight filtering through the treetops. Suddenly, the sheepdog became alert. It growled softly, staring towards the bushes by the road. Jack slowed down, listened, and suddenly heard a faint splash of water and a muffled sound like a cry. He frowned, quickly turned off the engine, and grabbed his first aid kit. Everything indicated that someone nearby was in trouble. After walking a few dozen meters, Jack saw a small forest lake glistening in the sun behind the trees. Something was moving on its surface, or someone. When he got closer, he realized that a small lion cub was desperately struggling in the water, clearly clinging to life with its last ounce of strength. The sheepdog instantly rushed into the forest lake, diving in at incredible speed. The water splashed around, the sun's rays played on the waves, and a light breeze rustled in the treetops. The lion cub desperately tried to stay afloat, his little paws barely coping with the current, his eyes filled with fear. Jack watched the dog's every move intently, holding his breath. Grabbing the lion cub by the mouth, the sheepdog began the long swim to shore. The waves crashed around them, the water sometimes lifting and sometimes carrying the lion cub away, but the sheepdog fought confidently against the current, keeping the baby safe. The lion cub whimpered and struggled, but every second brought him closer to safety. Jack cheered the dog on loudly as he watched it cover the distance to the shore with the small animal in its mouth. When the sheepdog finally reached the shore, Jack quickly bent down and gently freed the lion cub from its mouth. The little body was wet and tired, but alive. Jack praised the sheepdog for its courage and carefully wrapped the lion cub in a warm blanket, preparing for further help from the veterinarians. Jack's heart was filled with joy and anxiety at the same time. The danger had passed, but caring for the baby was just beginning. Jack Miller gently lifted the trembling lion cub from the shore and wrapped it in a large warm towel. The small body was still shaking, and its eyes reflected a mixture of fear and relief. Jack held the cub gently in his arms, stroking it to calm it down, while the dog sat nearby, watching and whimpering softly, as if sharing his concern. As the cub gradually warmed up, Jack checked its condition. Its breathing had become more even, but the little one looked tired and weak. He carefully examined its little paws and belly, made sure there were no injuries, and gave the lion cub some water. The lion cub cautiously began to drink, trusting the rescuer, who had been nearby the whole time, supporting it with his soft voice. When the little animal had recovered a little, Jack continued to dry him with a towel, gently massaging and warming every part of his body. He understood that there was still a long road to recovery ahead, but now, in these first minutes after the rescue, the main thing was to make the lion cub feel safe and cared for. The little hero, who had just nearly drowned, gradually came to his senses thanks to Jack's attention and care. Jack Miller carefully placed the lion cub, still wrapped in a towel, in the front seat of the car. The sheepdog settled in the back, keeping a close eye on the baby. Jack got behind the wheel, started the engine, and drove onto the narrow road leading to the city. The forest around them rustled quietly, rays of sunlight filtered through the treetops, but a tense silence reigned in the car. Jack glanced at the lion cub from time to time to check how he was doing. The cub was breathing rapidly, but was no longer shaking as much. The warm towel and the sheepdog's presence were calming him down. The car rolled smoothly along the road. The sheepdog leaned over the lion cub, sniffed him, and nudged him gently with his nose, as if to encourage him. Jack, keeping his hands on the wheel, spoke quietly, trying to make his voice sound confident and calm. "Hang in there, kid. We're almost there," he said, and in response, the lion cub blinked weakly, as if he understood. The sun was sinking toward the horizon, and golden light flooded the road ahead, turning every minute of the journey into a race against time, but also into hope for salvation. Finally, the veterinary clinic building appeared ahead. Jack stopped the car, exhaled, and turned around. The lion cub was lying quietly, but his eyes were open. Jack carefully picked up the baby, pressing him to his chest, feeling his weak but lively breath. He got out of the car and headed for the clinic door, with the sheepdog walking cautiously beside him. The veterinarians were already standing at the entrance, ready to receive the injured animal. Jack's heart was beating fast. Now everything was in their hands. The veterinarians carefully took the lion cub from Jack's arms and carried him to a soft table, covering him with a warm blanket. One doctor checked his breathing and pulse, while another gently cleaned the dirt from his fur, washing away traces of the pond and applying antiseptic to minor scratches. The lion cub whimpered quietly, his paws trembling slightly, but caring hands were nearby. Jack stood a little to the side, watching every movement anxiously, while the sheepdog waited alertly at the door, as if ready to intervene if the baby got hurt. After the examination, the lion cub was given an IV and a small injection to help him recover. After a while, he was moved to a small, warm cage with soft bedding. There he immediately lay down, resting his muzzle on his paws, and began to fall asleep to the quiet hum of the machines. Jack sat down next to him, stroked his back, and allowed himself to smile for the first time that day. The sheepdog lay down by the cage, resting her head on her paws, as if guarding her new friend. The room was filled with calm and quiet confidence. The rescue was over, and now the recovery could begin. Several days passed. The lion cub had grown noticeably stronger. His eyes had become clear, his breathing steady, and his movements powerful. Every day the veterinarians brought him a bowl of warm milk and pieces of soft meat, and now he would approach the bowl himself, purring loudly with pleasure. Jack came to visit him every morning, stroking the cub's back and talking to him in a soft voice, while the sheepdog sat nearby, watching intently as the lion cub ate. The room, which until recently had smelled of medicine, was now filled with the sounds of life. Soft purring, the thumping of the sheepdog's tail, and calm breathing. When the lion cub had fully recovered, the veterinarians opened the door to a spacious enclosure behind the clinic. Beyond the high fence stretched green grass, a small stream murmured, and there were wooden shelters and warm houses for animals. Jack carefully carried the lion cub outside and set him on the ground. The cub took a few uncertain steps, then ran happily forward, feeling free. Jack stood by the fence and watched as the lion cub explored his new territory, feeling the wind and sun on his fur for the first time. Now he was safe, and a new life full of care and warmth awaited him. Thus ended the story of the little lion cub, miraculously rescued from the water trap. Thanks to Jack Miller's courage, his sheepdog's loyalty, and the veterinarian's care, life triumphed over danger. The lion cub got a second wind, and with it, a chance for a new, free life. Sometimes, the kindness and determination of just one person can change the whole world, even if it's just for one small creature. Subscribe and help us give more animals a second chance. See you next time.